In the professional speaking business, professional speaking world, there are two major markets. And we define the market by who pays the speaker's fees. So the first market's the corporate market, where you go speak at a corporate convention typically, or a corporate meeting, and the corporation pays your fee. And the other major market is the public market, where you're selling to the general public, where let's say you hold a seminar or workshop, and the people who attend pay for a ticket, and that pays your speaking fee. So the question becomes, a lot of times we get this, we've gotten this from a lot of speakers around the world, or new speakers that are trying to break in. They'll say, should I go corporate or should I go public? It depends. One of those answers that is not fun because you want something more clear. It depends on your topic, for one. Okay, it depends on what you want to do, for two. It depends on your level of sophistication, education. Remember, if you're playing in the biggest, most sophisticated market, which is corporate America, or corporate anywhere for that matter, for us, corporate America for the most part, but anywhere there's big corporations, you're dealing with very highly educated, very sophisticated business people that know the difference between a good speaker and a great speaker, and one that really knows their content in and out, and one that read a few books on that content. So you have to be realistic with yourself to know where you can play. How high can you play? Like I played professional tennis at the top five back in the day. At top 500 in the world was the best I ever did, and that was the best day I ever had. And I realized that I really couldn't go any higher than that for various reasons. So I had to be honest with myself. And I think in speaking, you have to do the same thing. It's a little harder with speaking because most people overrate themselves as speakers. I think they're much better than they are because a lot of reasons I won't get into. But bottom line is they overrate themselves. They think they can play higher level, and usually they can't. But if you can, and you know someone that's in the corporate market, and you want to play in the corporate market, you want to work there, then go for it, because it is the richest market in this business. I spent 23 years doing corporate turnarounds, mostly for major corporations, divisions and regions of major corporations. And lucky enough, I speak on mental toughness, and I've spoken on mental toughness my whole life, and I know the topic very thoroughly, and had a lot of success in turnarounds with increasing sales and market share with regions of multi-billion-dollar corporations. So I loved it. Larry Wilson, the king of the corporate market, said I could play in that market if I did some things, and I worked on those things to try to up my game, and luckily it worked out for me. In the public market, I've done a fair amount of work, because I've sold almost 2 million books, and that puts you in the public market when you sell books. It's not as sophisticated. It's more fun because they're personal development people. For the most part, they pay for a ticket, which means they're into it. Whereas you go into a corporation, about 5% of the people typically believe in personal development. The other 95 think it's BS. They're wrong, but that's the reality we work with. So it's always an uphill battle. You're getting paid a relatively ridiculous amount of money to fight the uphill battle, but it is an uphill battle. So it does take a little bit of a drain on you, which is the reason I don't really want to go back to it after COVID, because it's a battle. You're battling all the time. Fighting to try to convince them that personal development and the concepts that we talk about as speakers really do make a difference, because they do. Is it the be-all, end-all that some speakers claim it is? No, of course not. That's nonsense. The overreach in personal development is substantial. It's too much. But that doesn't mean you throw the baby out with the bathwater. And if you can convince corporate executives not to, then you can work in that environment if you can bring them benefits. Public market, again, a lot of fun. The people are personal development people. They believe in everything 100%. They're positive typically. They want to be there. They'll stand up, give you a standing ovation, think you're great. It's a lot of fun. It's a little heady. Sometimes you can start to believe you're a celebrity in your own mind because they treat you that way. A lot of fun. What I did was just one person's experience. I ended up bridging the gap and doing both markets. I did about 80% on the corporate side and about 20% on the public side, because I had books that were selling, for the last 20 years all over the world, and so luckily had pretty good success with that, and that put me in the public market because executives or network marketing leaders or direct sales leaders, people in more of the entrepreneurial type of environment would read my books and hire me to speak. So I ended up being in the public market, even though I never focused on the public market, always the corporate market. So it depends what you want to do. I really enjoyed it. The advantages, in my opinion, after this many years, is I love both of them, and I got tired of both of them, like you get tired of anything else in life when you do tons of it. The corporate market I like it because they're challenging. You throw out some BS statistic, you better back it up, because these people are educated. They'll say, Where do you get that from? I totally disagree with that. Prove that to me. You can say almost anything in the public market and they'll chant your name and stamp their feet. I mean, they believe everything you say, and I don't mean that I don't mean to put them down, but there is a level of it's not as sophisticated as across the board in general. It's not as sophisticated as the corporate market. So I like the corporate market because it challenged me. It pushed me to be better, and I always enjoyed it for that reason. The downside of it for me was they're skeptical. They don't believe in the basics. They think vision boards and writing a vision is nonsense. Where basically it's a parallel to a business plan, except that it's an emotional business plan versus a logic-based business plan. When they believe in business plans, they have to write them for their job usually. So that's the up and down for me of the corporate market. The public market I love because of their enthusiasm and they're fun and they believe in it. They're us basically. They're speakers. They may not be speakers, but they're personal development people. They believe in this stuff like we do. So we're in our homeland, when we speak to them. And you sign books and you take pictures and people say you change their lives and you get treated very well. Obviously, kind of a red carpet thing. And it's a lot of fun. And I love those people more than any people in the world. But then again, sometimes I'll work with speakers. I'm not a person that likes to make wild claims, but there are speakers that do, as you know. And I've seen people just believe things that were just completely unbelievable, and it sort of turns me off. So I kept going back to corporate because of that. And then I kept going back to public because I got sick of the skepticism in corporate. So I liked the balance. I've always enjoyed the balance between the two markets, and have done fairly well in both. So they both have something to offer. A side market, a minor market, is the association market. That's a large market. It's huge, so it's not minor in that context. But it's minor in the sense that they usually are nonprofit, and they ask you to cut your fee by 30 to 50%, which I never did. I probably have done that 5 times in 25 years for charities, and I don't like doing it because as soon as you get booked again, you have to cut your fee for the people that booked you because they know the people just paid 50% off they got a 50% discount, and their friend at XYZ Association, they said, we want the same price you gave him. And then you have to do that. So I consider it a minor market in that way, but major markets, public market and corporate market. So make a decision. Some topics only lend themselves to corporate and some only to public. Some bridge the gap like mental toughness, others do not. So you have to sort of decide. Best way to do it, get with a mentor, someone that's in this business at the 7-figure level, at least the high 6-figure level, that really understands how this business works. Get really good advice so you don't waste 10 years' time trying to figure this out, because people do that all the time in this business. It's the number one reason people fail. They have no idea what they're doing, and they don't go for mentors that actually understand. There's a lot of phony mentors and things like that on the internet. People selling speech training and speaker training that have never been successful as speakers. It's a very unusual business that very, very few people understand. And that's easy to prove by the limited number of people that succeed in this business. And all the studies show that according to National Speaker Association. So get good mentorship, make a decision, and go for it.